Good evening. Good evening. Happy Sunday. Hope that we're all doing well. I feel like I'm a bit pink today. It's been very hot. Let me just send some invites. Thank you for those that are catching up on replay. My watch is talking to me. Let me just send a couple of invites and then I shall be right with you. My full attention shall be right with you. How are we getting on? Do you know what that'll do? That'll do. A few invites sent. And then let's get going. Who have we got on then? Catherine's on. Adam's on. How are we? A few people on. Piers on. Reece is on. Diego's on. Elodie's on. So happy days. Got quite a few people watching already. So, episode 7 of the Always Better Than Yesterday interview session. So for those of you that are new joining, if this is your first one that you've ever joined, thank you, really appreciate it. Hope to add you as much value as possible. And what I'm doing is being nosy. I'm interviewing some inspiring and successful people and seeking to understand the habits and the mindset of those people. So I would do that in private anyway, and absolutely, why not share that with the world? What's up, Dave? How you doing, mate? Sophie's on, Verity's on. How we doing, guys? Yeah, so I'm all about understanding people, and I just know that people that are successful, people that are winning at life, it's not by accident, and it's probably by the way that they think, the way that they act, and I just love hearing from people and understanding a bit more about other people. So today, this evening, or this morning for Reece, I will be speaking with Reece Anderson. And I first came across Reece as a friend of Adam Bokert. So episode 1 we had with Adam Bokert all the way over in Brisbane. And I got to know Reece through Adam, and he's been ever present in the Always Better Than Yesterday community. And a couple of weeks back, we were privileged enough to hear his why, and I'm sure he'll touch on a little bit about his purpose and his journey in a sec when I bring him on. But it's been great to get to know him. I'm really looking forward to speaking to him now and sharing him with you this side of the pond. So it's early doors in Brisbane, Monday morning, and I think it's midwinter, so I'm just going to bring Reece on. Hello, my friend.
Hey, how are you?
I'm very well. How are you?
Opposite to you, it's freezing here.
Sorry.
But it's all right. It's not that bad. Not compared to your winters anyway.
Yeah, so it's midwinter in Brisbane. What sort of temperature are we expecting today?
I think it's up to 22. But it is about 6 at the moment. It's about 6 at the moment. So
I do not. No sympathy. So thank you very much for joining me.
no, thanks for having me on, mate. Appreciate it.
I'd love it if you could just introduce yourself, tell a little bit about yourself and a bit about your journey.
Yeah, sure. So obviously, for those that didn't see my why the other week, so I'm Reece Anderson. Call myself the mental health motivator. Had a very long journey of suffering myself for over 15 years, which I'm sure we'll get into a bit more. But currently, I am a father of 2 girls. I've got a great supportive partner. Originally from New Zealand, now living in Brisbane for the past 11 years. Love running, so running's my out, but it's also something I really love and enjoy. Done it most of my life. I like sport across the thing, so love watching rugby. Big fan of the All Blacks, as you said you were too, Ryan.
Right.
So yeah. So I love my rugby, but I watch any sport really, to be honest, any sport that's on TV. I usually spend my Sunday afternoons watching whatever's on. And I just overall, my biggest passion is, creating awareness and helping people in the mental health space. So that's my big passion. And That's what I kind of do on the side because I do have a day job in a bank. Actually work for the same company as Adam, so different areas, but work for the same company. And but if most people that know me don't even know that I work in a bank. They probably only know me as working with people in the mental health space. So I do definitely build my brand around that.
Amazing, amazing, love it. So that's a very short whistle stop tour, and I'd love to kind of expand on your story. And you talk about 15 years, and take us back to that journey and help us understand a little bit more about your challenges.
Yeah, sure. So I mean, I was a top runner, top tennis player, fit, healthy, good upbringing. Couldn't really complain, to be honest. And I came home from a tennis practice one night. I was 20. And literally sat down to have my dinner and couldn't breathe, couldn't eat, couldn't swallow. Heart rate was out of control. And ambulance eventually turned up. They did palm me off the first time and said, nah, you'll be right. And I'm like, no, I'm not. So, they came around and my heart rate was well over 180, just sitting still. So, so that was my first experience of a panic attack. And got told to go see my doctor the next day, which I did, and was prescribed antidepressants straight away. And being young and naive, and I don't know, you just kind of believe that that's the right thing to do. And pretty much that one pill turned my life around. Went to a pretty dark place pretty quickly. I was put on a couple other medications as well. Xanax being one of them. So I didn't become addicted to it, but I did start to use it definitely between Monday and Friday at a certain time. And it really, I don't know, I just tried to live a normal 20-year-old's life, obviously partying, socializing, but, I stopped playing my sport because I thought I was going to have a heart attack. So all these thoughts just started getting into your head, and you just started not believing in yourself, lost my confidence, lost who I was. I mean, at 20 years old, you kind of don't really know who you are anyway, but throw that into the mix, and it was terrible. It was, I didn't really understand what was going on. Doctors didn't really understand what was going on either. And so I started suffering really severe anxiety after that. And I actually, within about 6 months, developed really major tics. So to the point where I was smashing, actually, my arm would be going full ball. My head swings would be pretty much like that, but ongoing. Especially the more stressed I was, the more tired I was, the worse it became. It was pretty tough, and it was pretty tough for my parents, I think, to see their child go from, I don't know, kind of fit and healthy and to not really wanting to leave the house unless he had to go to work. That's pretty much what it came down to. And if I did leave the house, it was to go out socializing, so I would drink to hide behind it all. That would be the other big thing. So, so I was just, it was tough. And then as the tics got worse, I kind of put all my time into work. So I got burnt out as well. And then obviously you have things like, you lose people that are close to you. And then the time I was 25, it just got too much, and I did try to sort of take my life. So, which was, it's funny. You hear people talk. It was actually someone said yesterday they were talking about suicide, and they made the comment that, it's quite selfish, and they didn't know my background. And I was like, oh, okay, tell me a bit more about that. And I said, I've been through it. Like, when you're in that dark place, you don't see the support you have. You don't see all the amazing things. All you see is doom and gloom and how crap you are and how things have turned. And you don't have the toolbox. You can't get out of it. And the support people around you don't have the toolbox either to know what the right things to say. And it all just becomes a really big mess. So that was pretty, I think, massive for my family to go through that, but it made us stronger, I think. And obviously,
what do you think helped through that time?
Ah, speaking up, to be honest. Like, I remember the day I tried, and then I was like, what am I doing? What am I doing? And I actually drove around to my parents' house and just said, look, I'm not good. I'm not okay. And they're like, oh, yeah, we kind of thought so. And then, yeah, we just kind of put a bit of a plan in place. We went and saw someone, and I actually resigned from my job, took 6 months off, moved back home. And but I was just, all you get out of me all day was hate. I had nothing in me. I had no energy, I slept more. I hadn't slept probably in about 6 months properly. So I think I took sleeping pill for the first time, but I think I had one, and I was like, no, I'm not doing another one of those. It just made me feel worse. And yeah, it was terrible. But yeah, definitely opening up and talking, and then being back home in that supportive environment, I guess, to know that I didn't have to do anything. I didn't have to think about anything. I could actually just recover. Because I was burnt out. I had nothing in the tank. I was burnt out mentally and physically. And yeah, but the biggest thing was actually, I guess, acknowledging that I wasn't okay. And that's obviously for a guy, that's always probably the hardest thing.
Yeah, and you talked about a toolbox, and you having a toolbox and those closest to you. What's in your toolbox now that you've developed over the last few years?
Oh, jeepers. Well, firstly, I'm just so aware now when my body's telling me something. So that's probably I'm very aware of my body. So if I start to feel a bit tight somewhere, I can actually do a check-in with myself, and straight away I'll know usually what the trigger is. Sometimes it might not be anything. It might just be that I'm pushing myself too much. Actually, sometimes it is I just haven't eaten enough, to be honest. Sometimes it's just a simple thing is not eating enough or drinking enough. And my toolbox too is I use if anyone's heard of tapping before, so I have quite a few different tapping techniques. So one of them is I can on my collarbone here, if I actually know what's going on with me, if I actually go, okay, I'm anxious because of, I can actually tap it out.
Yep.
So within 5-10 minutes, I can release that pretty quickly. So like yourself, I'm trying to learn the art of meditation. So this is always a bit of a challenge for a guy that's always 100 miles an hour. So, but I am getting better at just taking that time to just stop. And I'll quite often do it at work. If I'm feeling a bit overwhelmed, I'll just remove myself and go and sit outside, take 10, which is really important. So exercise. So for me, starting my day with exercise is a massive thing that I know that I need. Creates the right endorphins. Any nervous energy turns into, good energy. So that's a big one for me. Another one for me was we found out over the time I actually had a bit of a disease called pyrrole disease, which is pretty much, especially when you get sick or get the flu, it actually takes all your really good stuff like your magnesium, your zinc, your Bs. And they're really important if you suffer anxiety and all that, especially in a guy, because if you sweat it out, that's a lot of the stuff that you sweat out. So I actually see a naturopath monthly and get a top up of all that sort of stuff. And I do, if I don't have that for 2 weeks, I notice a change pretty quickly. Yeah. So obviously you've got to eat well as well. On top of that, it's not just take a vitamin, you can eat whatever you want, but it's that having that, it's that real holistic, I guess, holistic approach. And so they're probably the big main ones that I know that I do consistently daily. Then, like I said, I have the tapping and other things just to use, I guess, as so things don't escalate, I guess, is probably the best way to put it. So
what lessons has your journey taught you? Reflecting back over the time now, what are some of the big takeaways that you've learned about yourself and overcoming mental or your challenges?
Yeah, good. I'll definitely, because people often say, do you ever regrets, or are you angry at the doctors for prescribing medications and blah, blah, blah. And I go, no, not really, because I wouldn't be who I am today if I didn't go through the journey. And I know that sounds real cliche, but it's true. It's true. And so my lessons are that taking ownership is really important. Yep. Like you can have all the support in the world, but until you put your hand up and go, I'm not okay, I actually have an issue here. I need to fix something. Nothing's going to change. So when you do that and you step into that circle of owning it, the world changes, because that's when you can start to take action. But until you can admit to yourself that something's not right, you'll be stuck in that same mindset, that same bubble of, I guess, darkness and trauma and whatever else you're going through. So that's a big thing for me, is just, I guess, that own it piece. And I guess I try to carry that through all parts of my life now. I just, you own your stuff up. Who cares? You just own it. Like, you're human. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to be, I guess, pleasing everyone. That's probably another big one. My mindset now is I come first, and that sounds really weird. And some people go, that's real selfish. And I go, well, it's not. So, as a parent, as a leader, and everything that you do, you can't bring your A game every day if you don't look after yourself. So I know that if I do all those things I was talking about before, and I look after myself and I get good sleep and all that sort of stuff, I'm a better person to be around, which means I can add value to more people's lives. So that's probably my most biggest thing. And a lot of people don't get it when they say that. They go, oh, that's real selfish. I'm like, no, actually, it's more selfish to be, running on 50% and being a moody, grumpy dude and horrible to be around. So
I completely agree with you.
And that's what I guess I share a lot with my people that I coach and mentor, is that's one big thing that I try to make them see, is that, you can make all these changes, but if you're not going to put yourself first, you're just going to probably fall back into the same trap. So that would be probably my number one learn.
Love it. What, self-care, look after yourself?
Self-care, look after yourself. I had a year off as a stay-home dad last year, and obviously going out and mingling with mums and parents and stuff, I go to all these things, and I used to just stand there and look around and go, everyone just looks tired and worn out and lethargic, and all they're doing is they're just putting their kids first, their kid first, their kid first. So what are they teaching them? They're just teaching their kid to, oh, you got to go put your kids first. But they just look worn out. They were tired, where I was just like, I don't know, I was energetic and we were fresh, and they're like, oh, how come you get to go out running and do this stuff? And I go, because I just make it happen. Like, I don't have any excuses. I just go, well, I incorporate it. I bring my daughter with me. I put her in the pram. We go running, and I incorporate go to the park. So it's a win-win for both of us. So it's just, that was a big eye opener that year I had off, just hanging around, and I was just like, oh. So yes, people you're more in control of what you think. That's probably the big thing.
It's interesting what you say, trying to master the art of meditation, getting up and exercising in the morning. I've got so much similarity in what I'm trying to do this side of the pond. And, some of that is about my own mindset. Some of that's about my own sort of challenges that I face. But a lot of it is all boiled down to, I know that those things will help me be better for those around me.
Yeah.
And that's why I do it. That's ultimately why I do it, for the headspace, not just for myself, but for my kids or for my team or whatever that might be.
Yeah.
I just know I'm a better person if I've, been able to put myself first a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. I just think people, when they hear put yourself first, it's like, oh no, so selfish, people are going to think I'm this. Yeah. It's like, well, no, the best thing you can do is take some time for yourself, because recharge the batteries, and you can come back into the circle and you're better for it. So
amazing.
Yeah.
So in your world as mental health motivator, do you want to share a little bit about kind of what you do and how you help people?
Yeah, so I'm not a psychologist, I'm not anything like that. Obviously I'm a person who's lived and breathed mental health and been to the bottom of the bottom. I do have a coaching background, so I got a diploma in coaching. I'm studying mental health at the moment as well, just to add a bit of extra I guess stuff to my record. But yeah, so I actually do quite a bit of speaking. So I speak where I can in terms of sharing my story, and obviously giving people tips and tricks of I guess how to overcome it. But my message is clearly usually it's okay not to be okay. And that's probably my favorite part, is the speaking. I actually love getting out there and speaking. So I've spoken at schools. I've done quite a bit of speaking through just at my job at Suncorp. They've allowed me to I guess flap my wings a little bit in that mental health space, which is cool. And then, I do a bit of coaching and mentoring, guys and girls. I've probably had a bit of half and half, but probably more of late, probably attracted more guys, to be honest, which is cool because I think, the guys is where probably the biggest issues are. So I just, I don't have all the time in the world, but I have sort of 4 or 5 going at the moment where, we just work through, it's all mindset stuff, to be honest. We just work on the top 2 inches, you know what I mean? So, and a lot of them, it's just working on changing those thought patterns and, the limiting beliefs and I guess it all sounds real easy, but it's not. It takes weeks and weeks for these people just to try and break one little habit. But once they do that, it's amazing how all these different doors open and their partners and that start to go, oh, wow, he's really changed. He's not anxious anymore. He's not this, or he's off his medications. Or see, I've had people come off medications, and I don't even talk about pills. I don't even talk about them. All I say to people is that we'll hopefully get you to a point where you'll start to build clarity that you can make the best decisions for you. Because at the moment you can't, because you're so clouded by whatever's going on. So I guess I like to get people to a point where they allow themselves, I guess, to be the best version of them. That's pretty much what I like to work towards. And it's fun. It's definitely I love it. It doesn't even feel like you're working, to be honest, because you're trying to empower and change one person at a time, I guess. And it's the best kind of stuff. Yeah,
I love it. So the mental health motivator, is that a hobby, or is that a future career for you? Or
definitely. No, it's definitely something I like. I'm building up. So I'm looking at the moment, sort of doing some maybe workshops or webinars online, and then getting maybe more into, because the one-on-one stuff, as we all know, it's quite draining, and you probably have to see like 50 people a week to make a living out of it. So I want to get more into the do some group stuff, which I think would really appeal for guys that maybe aren't too sure and probably feel more comfortable being around other guys, to be honest. So that's sort of the vision of where I want to go. And obviously I really like to do a lot more of the speaking, because that's just, I don't know, I just love it. So I've got a couple this week as well that I'm doing. So I'm speaking at a mental health organisation on Saturday, and they've got me going to doing a couple other things for them as well. And I do some volunteer work as well, well in the mental health space too. So yeah.
So before you go on and do your speaking, then is there anything you do, kind of mental preparation, framing, like preparing for those talks?
I don't really get nervous. It's real weird. It doesn't really freak me out. Like, I just, when you know what you got to talk, when you know what you're talking about, obviously you're nervous, but you just, once you're getting out there and you're sharing your story, it just becomes so natural. And the best part about it is it's always different. So sometimes you'll be emotional at certain points, and sometimes you won't be. It's just because it's real. And you just, you're not just talking to a slide, giving a presentation. You're talking about a real story, and you're connecting with people. And the best part about the speaking is afterwards, because I'll get people come and tell me some amazing stories, and they probably never told anyone before. And that for me is the high point. So that's pretty much what I think of before I go out and talk. I just go, I wonder how many more amazing stories I'm going to hear today. And that's my motivation. That just that straight away just clicks me into, this is why I'm here.
Amazing.
So, yeah.
Love it, mate. Thank you so much for sharing. And I think I asked this of everyone that I bring on. So I'm obviously very passionate about the phrase "always better than yesterday."
Yeah.
So what does "always better than yesterday" mean to you?
Probably goes back to what I was talking about that whole self-care, to be honest. So I guess, always better than yesterday is every day we should be doing those 1%ers to, whether it's for ourselves or for our goals or for whatever we're doing. So whether it's you getting up for a run or whatever, it's you getting up and writing in your journal in the morning, whatever you need to do to get yourself ahead, is doing those 1%ers every single day. Because as much as they might not feel like they're nothing now, within a few months' time, they become something pretty big. So like if you're training for a marathon and you're not that fit, within 3 months, or you're like, oh, well, okay, I'm running 30 kilometers. But it's because you consistently put those 1%ers in. So every single day, you're getting better. And that's it is. And you just, I don't know, and you got to, and I guess the other part is yesterday's gone and you can't control what's happened now. You can control when you get up today. And, if you get up and you feel like shit and you're telling yourself you feel like rubbish, your day's going to feel like rubbish. But if you get up and go, you know what, let's live today, let's get up and let's do it, that's how your day's going to go. So
amazing. Are there any things that you do as a habit to become better than yesterday?
I definitely go to bed a lot earlier these days than what I used to. And that might sound real easy, but it didn't used to be. But I know that I need my sleep for me to function at my highest every single day. So, and obviously I exercise in the morning. So whether I go for a run or I go up to the local gym up the road and do some yoga, that's a big part of my day. And obviously the meditation, as we spoke about before, but yeah, and then I always have, and obviously at the moment with my study I'm doing, so I've always got time aside, hour to 2 hours most days to put some time into that as well. So because obviously if you consistently do that, you're obviously going to get to the end goal. So that'll be my little 1%ers that I'm currently doing. So
amazing, mate. I love it. Thank you so much for sharing your time with us on a Monday morning.
Thanks, man. Thanks for having me on.
In sunny Brisbane, cold Brisbane.
Oh, the sun's coming out now. It's going to be a cracker day, but yeah, it's just cold now, so it's all right.
Going to be a great day, mate. I'm going to go through. Is there any questions that anybody's got for Reece? I'm really grateful for those of you that joined. Just going to go back through some of the comments. If there's questions that come in, Reece, are you happy to jump in and answer them?
Yep, no dramas at all.
Happy day. Amazing. Yes, it's been great, mate. It's been really great to hear your story and how you've overcome that and how you're now helping others as well. It's really inspiring. I really value you in the community. You've shared some great content.
Thanks, man.
Appreciate it. Look, always enjoying getting to know you a bit better. So, thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining.
Yeah, thanks for what you've done too. It's good.
Nice one. Well, have a great day. Have a great week. And to everybody that's joined in and watched either live or on replay, have a great week. And I'll see you again next week. Take care, mate.
Awesome. Thanks, buddy. Cheers.
Take care, guys.